My position that if something exists, something brought it into existence is the default position.
How do you know that?
Because everything I know,
That also doesn't make any sense according to our normal logic.
No problem. It's a necessity. But anyway, can you show me any of this which didn't have knowledge, power, and intent behind it to come into existence?
No.
So that's the default position. So if we take
For everything that I so far understand, that doesn't mean that our universe doesn't need to have a designer. But I don't know.
But my point is, if that's the default position, for me to continue that and say, well, if it works here, it must work there, I would say that's a natural step. But for someone to say, no, it is necessary here.
But we don't know if it's necessary.
Let me finish. It's not necessary here, but I don't believe it's necessary there.
I don't know if it's
or I don't know. You have to have a reason for that. Why haven't you taken that default position from here to here?
I wouldn't extend things that I know about our current universe to things outside of our current universe and the founding of our universe.
No, I'm talking about the universe itself. I'm talking about me and you.
But the founding of the universe is something that happened outside of our current universe, right? So I wouldn't take rules from our universe and apply it to the founding of our universe that currently exists. But I really don't know about these things. These are things that science may one day come around to and someday it may not.
So it's science of the gaps. Accuse us of anything we can't answer, we put God in.
I mean, sure, I'd put science I'd rather put science in the gaps than God, because science...
But what is science? But the problem is, science is you observe something, and from this observation, you lay down a particular pattern or formula, and then you replicate it. You test it, etc. So where is the science which says it's possible for
Science hasn't gotten around.
Okay, even to have this idea that it's possible, where did you get this from? Like, something which doesn't exist can come into existence in an organized manner, in an organized system.
I don't know if that's... Maybe it is, maybe it's not.
Why would you put it for the universe if you can't even prove the idea itself is possible? I can prove the idea, something doesn't exist, therefore someone brought it to existence. I can prove that.
I can't prove many things about the universe. That doesn't mean that I necessarily have to buy into some other idea that I also think cannot necessarily be proved. And I don't think that with you say like, okay, the watch came from somewhere, and that's like very, very simple logic, right? But I don't think that simple logic, then okay, we can just go one step further and say God didn't need a creator. Well, simple logic all of a sudden doesn't have to apply to that. Like simple logic, because God would also need a creator.
No, God had a creator, he wouldn't be God.
Yeah, well, but then God can't exist, because God, something that doesn't have a creator can't exist.
It's a necessity.
And that's why God can't exist, because if it's a necessity for God that it has a creator, then that makes God
No. I said if God has a creator, he would not be God.
Yeah, and that's why God can't exist, because everything has to have a creator.
No, I was very careful. I said something which doesn't exist, to come into existence, it has to have someone who made it. But if we're saying by necessity, there has to be a being which has always existed, otherwise nothing would take place, then you can't apply that rule there. Do you see my point?